Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. We start this episode with a story where OP has demonstrated that middle managers cannot do their jobs properly, and they are incompetent. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Proving to middle management they are incompetent. So a bit of context first. I worked at a call center for an insurance company. I was a sales and service consultant looking to move up within the company, so I was always looking to complete additional tasks to improve my chances on gaining the next promotion. As some of you may know, call centers are usually quite toxic and involve micromanaging employees until they hate themselves. This call center was no different. One of the biggest company focuses at the time was our online self-service center, SSC. Basically, it was to assist customers in moving their transactions online so that we didn't have 1,000 calls a day asking for something small such as a change of registration number or updating the address their vehicle was parked at. Consultants were required to promote, force feed, the SSC to every customer on every call. In the office was roughly 13 team leaders as well as a senior manager. Each team had roughly 10 to 15 people, so altogether there were about 150 to 200 people on the floor. Each team leader had their own idea of how it should be promoted and forced that ideology down the throat of their consultants. The most common process was to promote it immediately at the start of the call. You can imagine this was a mess. As you call your insurance company for help and they tell you to jump online before they even discuss or acknowledge your call, which is frankly extremely rude customer service. Additionally, the consultants never received proper training for the SSC, so they were not 100% sure of what processes you could and could not complete online. No matter what the customer called for, the consultant would tell them at the start of the call they could complete it online. Now, back to me completing additional tasks. I decided to take ownership of the SSC and to help educate my fellow consultants on how we could better promote the online service. I had lengthy conversations with consultants to determine why they were uncomfortable promoting the SSC, and, big surprise, there were two main reasons. They felt it was rude to promote it at the start of a call, and they did not know what processes you could complete online. I organized a presentation with the team leaders and discussed my findings and asked for their thoughts. I was greeted with a fair bit of tirade, which went along the lines of, "We've taught our consultants the right way. You're just a consultant yourself, so we know better than you do. And until you prove otherwise, we won't listen to your suggestions at all." I had a chat with the senior manager, and I told him that the reason we were experiencing such low digital promotion numbers were because the team leaders did not understand the capabilities of the SSC and were forcing consultants to promote the service even if you were not sure if their request could be completed online. His exact words were, "Prove it, and I'll take your side on this." I waited until the next big presentation, which included the senior manager, team leaders, and all of their consultants. I requested 10 minutes for a quick presentation on the SSC, and my senior manager agreed without asking what I was planning to do. Cue the malicious compliance. I created a 20-question true-false quiz on the functionality and capability of the SSC and handed one copy and a pen to each of the team leaders and asked them to fill it in quickly. The look of horror on each of their faces as they received the quiz and realized they knew nothing about the SSC was amazing to see. Their consultants were all smiling ear to ear as they could see the point I was trying to prove. 10 minutes later, I read out the answers and got the team leaders to mark the sheet of the person seated next to them. It wasn't a surprise when they read out the name of the team leader and their score. None of them scored more than 10 out of 20. The senior manager was seated in the corner of the room with a little smile on his face as he watched this all unfold. He had a chat with me afterwards and let me go through with the presentation I'd planned for the SSC. Digital promotion numbers increased from 13% to 85% within the space of a week. Geez, if none of them broke 50%, that's actually worse than random chance. A coin flip would have performed better than your middle managers. And our second story. I need to be a team player and help you? Sure, okay. I had a coworker who always considered himself smart and good at his job, but would never actually do any work or even show up half the time. He'd call out once a week minimum, and when he didn't call out, he was begging to be covered because he had to go out and party every other day instead of work. The only reason he wasn't fired is because he knew how to work around it. The days he is at work, he's known for asking whoever dislikes or knows him the least to help him with his work. When I was new, I would help only to find he left to take a break and basically wanted me to do his job for him. This particular day, my coworker was closing with our boss, and I was a midday shift to help them close well. My boss had a surprise meeting halfway through my shift that ended up taking a while, and before he left, he gave me some tasks I had to finish before I clocked out. No problem. They're decently easy, but will take up the rest of my shift. As I'm doing these tasks, coworker comes up and starts talking with me. Coworker: "Hey, are you busy?" Me: "Not necessarily, but great. Can you help me with something?" "No, not really. I have other things to do." "But you said you weren't busy. Come on, it'll take like 10 minutes. "Why haven't you finished it already?" "I'm sorry, but what I need to do..." "You're midday shift. Your job is to help the night shift. I'm currently night shift. I need help and you're not doing anything important." He goes on and on about being a team and helping each other, and I get an idea. "Okay, coworker, you need help and I'm not doing anything important? Sure thing." The night shifts are divided into 3 sections with different responsibilities, and coworker was placed on the one with the most tasks and requirements after months of whining that he deserved to be there. He shows me what I have to do, and he has basically done nothing in the few hours he's been at work. He leaves happy, thinking I'll do all his work and he can take a nice long break. And I do exactly that. I get to work. I do his tasks, but I do them all a little wrong, and at a slow enough speed, I don't exactly complete them all. Examples include stocking shelves, dating products, cleaning spoilage, and more. Coworker comes back, and I tell him that I did it all, and he walks away again, not even checking the quality of my job. This lined up perfectly with my boss coming back from his meeting and asking for an update. I explain how I couldn't finish the original tasks because coworker had me help him. My boss is already annoyed and asks for a clear play-by-play, so I tell him how coworker left me to do his job without him there to properly guide me, as I had never done his job before. Several other people do this specific job and have taught me already, but my boss didn't know that. My boss runs to coworker's department and sees how everything is off by just enough to be bothersome and will need to be mentioned in an email so no one gets mad at my boss. He tells me for my first time I did well, but I really need training, and he can't believe coworker left me alone to do all this. My boss tries to ask me to complete some of the original tasks, but oops, helping coworker took up the last bit of my shift. I clock out happier than when I clocked in. The day after, I heard my boss chewed coworker out and told him he can't ask new people for help anymore. I also see that my coworker was taken out of that department for all future shifts and placed in the easier ones. He ended up quitting soon after anyway, but it was fun getting him into a little trouble before he left. There's your mistake. When he asked you if you're busy. When anyone asks you whether you're busy, you always are supposed to say yes. And our last story. Think it's okay to screw us over by not paying for the website we just built for you? I'm not really a revenge type person. However, this just pissed me off so much I had to do something. About 16 years ago, we were hired to build a website for a hotel in D.C. It was in Northeast D.C. on Route 40 and not a franchise known for luxury or anything. We did all our normal work by creating a decent-looking website for this hotel. The owner had been annoying to work with during the process, but no real red flags. So when we completed the site and he refused to pay the balance due for the website, I was pretty outraged. He and his entire staff had loved the website all the way through the process and loved it when we completed too. Nothing but positive feedback as far as the design, layout, and content. We'd done a great job, delivered on time, and made the place look like you wouldn't be totally skeeved to spend a night there. Don't worry, we didn't make it look awesome when it was really crap. We just made it look decent and competently run as opposed to a hellhole. It wasn't a hellhole compared to the other couple of hotels nearby. It was just in a hellhole section of town. Unfortunately, our company policy was not to take down the websites of people who didn't pay, but to continue to try to collect. My contact, who I had worked with during the whole process, was no help in trying to collect and shrugged her shoulders at me and said it's just the way it is. Since the owner was such a jerk about it, I decided unilaterally to take the website down and put up a non-payment notice. Then I optimized the page in every way I could to make it come up at the top of the search for hotels in DC. Optimizing a page was a lot easier then, and simply having the right title, description, and keywords would do that. It was glorious. Search on a pet-friendly hotel in DC, popped right into the top. Search affordable hotels in DC, pop, there they were. I figured if they weren't going to pay, then they were going to pay, by having their reputation pounded day after day, search after search. Fast forward a year, and a check for the full amount due is sent to us. And I have to say, at this point, sending us a check was odd because it had been a year. And they had sold and changed the name of the hotel. I love this revenge. It's rare we get to extract public awareness of what someone did, and I agree with you completely. This was a great way to handle it. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.